All right, what's going on, guys? So this is one of the rare videos I do on the channel where it's pretty much gonna be raw, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this might be one of the most emotional videos I'm gonna make on this channel because I have a lot of emotions built up in me, and I cannot use this phone anymore. It has given me so much frustration and anger that I just need to make this video and get off this phone. I don't want this company to be angry at me, but today's sponsor is nobody. The Pixel 7 Pro has been one of the worst smartphone experiences I've had in a very long time. And I just want to ask the question to Google and tech content creators, does anyone actually use your products? Like, when I say use, I mean use extensively. Because in 1 week, I've had more issues with this phone than any other phone that I've used in the past decade. And I don't know how this phone is getting so much praise, and I'm just running into issues left and right. And one disclaimer I want to put out there is if you own a Pixel 7 Pro, don't feel like I'm personally attacking you. I'm simply talking about my experience and opinion. And I'm gonna have the definition of opinion somewhere on the screen because it seems like nowadays everyone doesn't know what an opinion is. Now, for Google, does anyone at your company actually use the Pixel 7 Pro and ask the questions, this doesn't really seem right, or how can I make this better? And for big tech content creators, do you guys actually use your phone or the phones that are given to you? Or do you just copy data from your previous phone to the new one, use it for a couple hours or a day, write your script, and then make your video based off of that and go back to the original phone you were using? Because if you do that, I'm gonna tell you straight up, stop making videos. Because this experience I've had has left me so jaded on the Pixel 7 Pro. All right, let's just get into the first point. And that would be the amount of bugs and glitches I've experienced with this phone that has left me so frustrated. First example, I'm running downtown and the only thing I am running on this phone is the Fit app, which is a first-party fitness app by Google to track my running, and Spotify, because guess what? I like to run while listening to music. Within like 10 minutes, the phone just froze and locked up. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't turn it off, couldn't turn up, down the volume. My music stopped. It was just frozen for like 2-3 minutes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then eventually it rebooted itself. And I was like, okay, that was a little weird. And then I continued to run. And I'm like, all right, might have been a fluke, probably not that bad. So then I run in my neighborhood. And guess what happens? The same exact thing. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely an issue. Why is it that I'm using a first-party app that is developed by Google with a music app running in the background that just causes the phone to freeze and to come to a halt? It makes no sense. The other thing that I want to mention is this phone is just warm all the time. And I'm going to talk about the processor in a second because people are saying performance doesn't matter. You don't need that much performance in a phone. I agree with that. Performance doesn't matter. But the fact that I'm facing these bugs and freezes on a pro-level device by Google it blows my mind that this is the best that Google has to offer. Second thing, I'm using Google's first-party app, the messaging app, which I've used on the OnePlus, the Ultras, the regular S series by Google or Samsung, and the F series by Samsung as well. No problems ever. I come on the Pixel, right, developed by Google using the first-party messaging app, and I'm getting bugs and glitches on there. I'm trying to delete messages or archive specific messages, and the app is just freaking out. Like, it's not doing what I expect it to do. And if you don't believe me, here's some video proof.
So I want to show you guys what's happening here. So when I go to messages and when I try to archive a message, it just stays there. Not really sure what's going on here, but you know, it's kind of bugging out here.
All right, so I'm just fact checking myself because I don't want to give out any false information and just to make sure the points I'm trying to make are logical about the processor and the battery. So the battery size in the Pixel 7 Pro is 5,000 milliamp hours, and then the S23 Ultra is also 5,000, and then the iPhone 14 Pro Max is 4,200. Impressive. Now, let me roll up my sleeves because this is where I can feel the anger rising. So people are saying performance doesn't matter in smartphones, which is valid, okay? There are a lot of things people do day to day that don't require that much performance. However, what people do need to talk about is efficiency and how efficient the Pixel 7 Pro is with its G2 Tensor chip it's laughable in this day and age. There is no way I could recommend this phone to anyone because guess what? If you have a huge battery and you're trying to compensate for the lack of efficiency you have in your chip, that just shows you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you need to do to make your chip efficient. The reason why Apple is able to have such a compact device is from how efficient the chip is. And guess what? It just so happens that the chip is also very performant. And how is it that this is the Pixel 7 Pro, the best of what Google has to offer, but its competitors offer better performance and better battery life with the same exact battery size that this phone has? Answer that question for me. Apple's the leader in it. Samsung has the Snapdragon, I don't know, it has an 8 in there somewhere, plus times multiple, I don't know, some crazy mathematical equation to it. And it still has a better battery life than this. I use this phone at like 7 a.m. and the phone dies at 6. How is this possible? Why is this phone warm all the time? I could put this phone in my fridge and it would still be warm. Matter of fact, it would probably cause problems in my fridge because my fridge is gonna be like, why is it just so warm when I'm like putting in more air to cool things down? It's from how efficient this processor is. I generally don't understand. So people talking about, oh, I bought this phone because I don't care about performance, it's smooth.
All right, so I'm just tracking some of the stuff that I'm doing with the Pixel 7 Pro, and I just want to show you guys that it is currently 7 o'clock on Thursday, and this phone is dead, but it was actually dead at 6 o'clock. Most of the phones that I've used in the past year and a half have lasted me past 6 o'clock, and it's surprising to me that the Pixel 7 Pro, where people are preaching about the battery life, is already dead, which is surprising. I understand that the phone is supposed to learn my habits and get better, but this is the quickest a phone has ever died. So just wanting to document this and show you guys that the phone is dead. All right, hopefully the phone doesn't die while I'm recording this, but this is another day where I'm currently at 1%. It's May 21st, and it's about 7:30 p.m., and the phone is about to die. And yep, there it goes. I have no idea why this phone dies so quickly. What I want to do is show you guys, I want to charge it very briefly just to show you guys the battery settings to see what I'm dealing with, because today started at 10 a.m. and I didn't even use the device that much. So once again, the battery life is very top of my list, and if this phone is dying from 6 to 7 every day, this phone, no matter how good the specs are, the camera is, I can't use this phone, straight up. All right, so the phone is back on, and what I want to do now is go to the battery settings. That was a little bit time of opening up that menu. Like, look at the speed on this thing. Anyway, battery usage. This is a very abnormal day, I would say, because most of my days start at like 6 a.m. So today, since it's the weekend, started today at 10 a.m. and Maps was 20%, YouTube 20%, Spark, Spotify, all the other stuff. So this from 10 to 12, this is how much my battery went down. Not really sure why Spotify used 26%, but I, once again, don't have this problem on other devices that I use. And then the Fit, I guess, is just running in the background because I did work out, and now it's just Fit running in the background. So it's like, I truly don't understand from this use case of me just using Maps to go to IKEA and then Spotify while running midday, and then it just continuously dies from there. I just truly don't get how this phone dies so fast. And on top of that, it's just like always warm. It's always warm. I just don't understand. Pixel 7 Pro, the flagship of Google. Anyway, back to the video. You guys need to see that anyway.
All right, now let's talk about the whole stock Android experience, because this point to me does not make any sense after using this device and other devices as of late. The Pixel selling point is its whole stock Android experience. And back in the day when the Pixel first launched, I could get behind that statement. But in this day and age where I'm gonna ask this question. If you set up a Pixel device, if you set up a Samsung device, if you set up a OnePlus device, if you set up a Huawei device, initial setup, nothing. It's stock across the board. They're all pretty much lightweight. There's not a lot of extra bloatware that is installed. That was the case probably 2-3 years ago. You set up a Samsung phone, there's like 20 other apps that get installed. Same with the other competitors. But with Google, you just get Google apps, nothing else. The problem is that this stock Android experience is so bare bones and just lacks features and capabilities that these other competitors have on their stock experience as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think I'm making sense here, because I think I need to talk a little bit more into what I'm trying to say. So the point I'm trying to make here is this stock Android experience is just too bare bones. And people are saying, oh, it's just as feature rich as an iPhone. This is the closest experience you get to an iPhone. No, it's not. Do not make that comparison, because that is disrespectful to Apple and the first party apps that it offers. And when I say first party apps, that is what I'm talking about. Because if you're talking about a stock experience, you are not using third-party tools. You're using first-party apps by the manufacturer. And the first-party apps on here give me problems. So I'm still building up to the climax, but this was one of the reasons of why I'm making this video right now, because at this point of what happened to me, I was just like, I'm done with this phone. I can't use it anymore. And it's the fact that it can't even functionally make phone calls. I don't know how a smartphone, actually slap the smart label out of there. This phone can't even make a phone call. A Nokia from 2001 can make a phone call, keep a stable connection, and you can change the volume up and down. This phone, I tried to make a phone call and I put it on speakerphone and I try to turn up the volume, nothing. I can't hear the other person. For some odd reason, like I said, I'm asking this question again to Google and tech creators. Did you people actually use this phone? Because I am trying to make a phone call to people and my phone refuses to give me any type of volume back. Whether it's the regular one, the speaker, Bluetooth, nothing. I turn up the volume, it's just hard locked at 0. I can't do anything. I can't hear the other person on the other side of the line. How am I supposed to use a phone when I can't make phone calls? You want me to use the screen feature, direct my call, by the way, which is in preview or beta? That's a joke. Let me show you some clips of what I'm talking about, because that alone is the reason why I am so upset.
All right, so I'm officially done with the Pixel 7 Pro, and this is the beginning of a new day. It is 7:52 in the morning. So this phone can't even do basic phone features. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and call my sister, right? Hopefully she doesn't pick up. I can't hear her, so guess what I'm going to try and do? Turn it up. It won't go up for any reason, so I'm going to put it on speaker. Get this out the way. I'm going to put it on speaker. I still can't turn it up at all. So it's like, why can't this phone do basic phone features? It can't even properly call. And I have a 5G signal, full bars, well, 4 bars technically. It's under the calling phase, but no. That's not even the biggest issue. Let me actually go to a call that I can connect to. Let's just say, here we go. Call Walmart.
All right, Walmart. Do you want customer service or a local branch?
Local branch.
I found a few options.
Just call them. I don't got time for this. Call. Right? This one's going to connect. Trust me. It's a business. Right? I can't hear anything. Going all the way up. Nothing. I want to go on speaker. Try and turn up the volume. Nothing. How am I supposed to communicate to the other person when I can't even hear them? Pixel people, please explain to me how you are able to use this phone. I truly do not understand how this is possible. If there's anything that I need to do, what most people need to do, and that is to call, I can't do that. So this Pixel 7 Pro, I'm done. This phone has too many problems for me. All right, my sister's calling. Look. Hello? Hello? If you're talking, I can't hear you right now. There's something wrong with my phone. Look at that. They're fed up. Fed up. This phone is an actual joke. Straight up. I don't care what anyone says about Google and Pixel. If you own this phone, to me, this phone is a straight up joke. And you know what? She's probably going to think there's something wrong with her phone. No, it is definitely my phone. Trust me. All right, I'll ask her if I can show her these messages, but look at this. Come on back to iPhone world. I love my 14. You see what happens when people don't have problems and the other person does? They convince them to go to the other side. Google, please. I want you to succeed, but problems like these, I cannot hide from the public.
I'm slowly losing my voice. I need water. All right, let's talk about the camera, because the camera is where I'm going to get pretty emotional as well. So, is the camera on the Pixel 7 Pro good? Yes, it is actually. I can agree with most people that this is a fantastic camera through and through. But if you are trying to make the selling point of the Pixel 7 Pro be the camera and the camera only, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to mask every other experience that I've had thus far. It's not going to justify me for buying this phone. And I hate to say this, but I do want to put partially the blame on tech content creators, because I feel as though like the last couple of years, there's just been so much focus on the camera in a smartphone, when in reality, like, why do you care that much about the camera? Like, you should care, but it's like the bulk of the review is about the camera. And I'm like, bro, talk about the phone. I don't care about the camera. I know it's gonna shoot good. I'm coming from an iPhone 6S or a 7. I'm coming from a S8. I know it's gonna shoot better cameras or photos than the phone I'm on. Why are you spending like 8 minutes in your review talking about the camera? And the reason why I'm upset about this is because I feel as though people are giving the Pixel, it's always getting a pass because of its camera. It shoots nice photos. But what about the rest of the phone? The things that people actually use in their day-to-day work? Why can't you focus on that? And the other thing that really pisses me off about Google and this whole Pixel thing is, as of late, they've always been talking about, and this might upset some people, but they're always talking about, oh, for black and brown people and other darker complexion, we're making it so it's true to life, or how it's supposed to be, because we know for your other competitors, they're not representing you right. What? What? Are you serious? Like, if you're trying to draw me to your phone and that's your point, but you're not going to talk about the actual experience using the product, that's a joke. That's a joke. I know people who have used iPhone for years, Samsungs for years, and not once, not even me, I've never said, dang, why is this phone taking a photo of me like that? The only thing is the joking thing at night where it's like, can't see you. Maybe the Pixel does that better, but that's not going to bring those people over to your phone. Because once again, the camera is not the only thing a person uses on your phone, and it cannot be the selling point. Not once will anyone come up to me and say, should I get the Pixel because it takes better cameras for my complexion? I'll tell them straight up, no, because guess what? You're probably looking pretty okay on the phone you're using, but the experience you're gonna get on this phone is going to be substantially worse than the phone that's in your pocket, straight up. I don't know why Google is taking this narrative of, which is, once again, I'm gonna come out and say it is valid, but this whole narrative of the other competitors, they're not representing us properly, it's not a good enough selling point for this phone. You can't, I would rather have a solid OS with an okay camera than a fantastic camera with a shaky OS. bar none, because guess what? I use the OS more than the camera itself. And I think this is what tech content creators need to start talking about in their reviews, because once again, I don't care how great these photos are. Whatever phone I'm coming from is taking better photos than that, or at least that's my expectation. So stop focusing so much on the camera, please. Nobody cares that much. I'm telling you. And guess what? Actually, let me fact check myself. Where's that laptop I threw? Listen, MKBHD, I love you. I have nothing bad to say about you, but I want to use your video as an example because you're basically the tech god and you have your award, smartphone award. I'm curious about who won the best camera smartphone of the latest one. Look, watching ads for you, by the way. Get that money. Okay, best camera.
Or should I say best camera system across the board? Because there is a lot to a good camera, from photo quality to video quality, where we gave everyone the ability to vote on whatever photos they like in 3 different categories, and the overall winner across all 3 categories was the Pixel 6a, incredibly. And actually runner-up to it was the Pixel 7. So these are clearly some really good photo quality phones, but I'm not giving them the trophy for best camera system. My winner for best overall camera system in 2022 is going to the iPhone 14 Pros.
And I'm not saying MKBHD's award, smartphone award, is like the end all be all. And the fact that the selling point of the Pixel series across the board has always been the camera, but it can't even win in the camera department. I understand for the value proposition and what you're trying to do. It almost feels like you're trying to be OnePlus. The difference is OnePlus at your price point compared to its competitors at the time was giving you the values and the features of a flagship for the lower price. You're stripping away stuff and you're just saying, we have a super nice camera on top. It's not gonna work, right? The performance, the efficiency, the bugs, the glitches, it's not gonna make up for having a good camera. Let me bring the phone over to your guys' left-hand side and let me take a quick break. Because advertising, I'm gonna get emotional here again. So this is the section where I'm talking directly to you, Google. And this is sort of the same thing I had in that Intel video I made like, I think a year or 2 ago. Google, advertising, it's your bread and butter. I know, it's what you do best, Google Ads. But I don't know why companies are like, they have subpar products, but they advertise to the moon as if that's going to make up for their lack of having a good product. Because guess what is the best advertisement? This guy, not me, my lips. It's word of mouth, because word of mouth transcends any form of advertisement in the world. You could advertise to the Super Bowl, which you do. You can advertise in the NBA, which you do. But it doesn't matter how much ads you're pushing in people's faces. If a person they trust say that the product sucks, they're not buying it, right? If my mom is like, hey, should I buy the Pixel? And I tell her, no, that phone sucks. It doesn't matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars you're burning away on advertising to her to let her know she should buy the Pixel. She's gonna take my word over it over yours. Word of mouth and having a good product is the best form of advertisement. Apple has advertisements, but guess what? They also make really solid products. And guess what? A lot of people who own Apple products say good things about them. Same thing with Samsung. At least of the last 2 years, Samsung has been knocking it out the park. They make solid products, and the products speak for themselves. The people I encounter in my life that have used a Pixel and have left Pixel to Samsung or OnePlus, they've all pretty much said the same thing. There's just too many issues they have with the phone. And it actually makes me sad because Google, you are an American company and you are basically a household name everywhere in the world, except maybe not China or North Korea. But the point I'm trying to make is this is an American soil company and you can't even compete against Samsung. You're making the Fold, but I'm going to be shocked if tech creators get that phone and it's the same exact presentation or rollout like the Microsoft Duo. They can only talk about the design and their experience off camera. And then when the actual review comes out, it's like, this phone kind of sucks. Because that's what people are doing nowadays. And it's actually making me so upset. All these people have this first impressions period, and then you can only pre-order the phone. But when you can actually buy the phone is when the review comes out. So you're building out all this hype off first impressions, initial impressions, where the people can't even talk about specific things that people actually need to know before they buy the phone. And guess what? You're probably accumulating all these sales, but when the product actually releases, it's a flop. The phone sucks, straight up. So stop spending millions on advertising. You know what? You should probably invest that money in the company so people don't get laid off, and go back to the drawing board and make a better product that is just good, and word of mouth will supersede any form of advertisement that you're doing. And that is how you're gonna compete against Samsung. Because guess what? I guarantee you, Samsung could stop advertising altogether for the next year, and they would still have a larger market share than you. Matter of fact, they probably will have better growth, because guess what? Instead of advertising, they're just funneling money back into their products, back into their business, which is what you should be doing. So this whole idea of advertising is gonna make the phone sell well. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly, at least not on this channel, right? You can send me the product early. I can say nice things in my first impression, and then I can give my review, which is, I don't wanna what's that word? I don't wanna rock the boat, right? On my reviews, because you're sending me the product early. I wanna be on good terms with you. So that is the benefit of having no sponsor, actually, because I can say whatever I want, like videos like this. But that actually makes me mad. It's been like this for the past 2 years, like this whole rollout phase of pre-orders and reviews, the way it's stacked up, it just makes me so upset. And Google, if you blacklist me or any other manufacturer, you blacklist me for not giving me products early, simply for the fact that I'm just speaking my truth and experience using the phone. For one, that speaks more about you than it does me. And two, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because guess what? I would rather have integrity and authenticity of how my experience is versus a script I'm given to read off of specific feature sets. I don't care about no 48 megapixel on a camera. I don't care about no A14. I don't care about no 45-watt wireless charging. I care about the experience. And that is what I'm going to tell my viewers day in and day out. Because guess what? The value isn't me. My value is my viewers. And I care about my reviewers. And I'm not going to sell out for the sake of lining up my pockets just because you're giving me the product early. It's not worth it. I would rather have less views and get my review out a month later compared to everyone else, because I want to give them the most unbiased, clear, is it clear? It's not really coherent either, but regardless, you guys get the point I'm trying to make here. So I'm going to leave off this question to Google, and it's, do you guys have a vision of the Pixel series? And do you guys have a vision of your mobile department in general? Because I feel as though you guys just do stuff for the sake of doing it. And I can make the same argument for Samsung back in the day, but at least Samsung has had a vision, I'd argue. And they have made their vision come into fruition, as in the most recent years. They have arguably one of the best mobile products on the market compared to Apple. Right? Like Apple's only true competitor is probably Samsung. It's not Google. It will probably never be Google. I hope it would be Google one day, but from what the Pixel series is doing, I have no faith in Google. And it's sad. It actually makes me sad to think about this for Google. A company that has like trillions of dollars. I think it's like 1.5 or something. It might be 1.6 now. But it's like, you guys have so much wealth, so much compared to most companies around the world, and you can't even make a decent product in your category. You have some of the best engineers. You have I don't know what you guys have anymore. You have the search engine, you have Gmail, calendar. There's a reason why people prefer iPhone or Samsung. And it's because of not only brand and recognition, that's probably one of the biggest driving forces, but they make solid products, and it seems as though those two companies have visions on what they're trying to do. I'll even lump OnePlus in that as well. They have a vision on what they're trying to achieve, although OnePlus is a little bit rocky now. Case I'm trying to make is that, like, Apple and Samsung have solid ecosystems. For each product they create, they have a vision on what it needs to do, and they execute it pretty well. Apple, I would say their ecosystem is definitely at the top. Like, in terms of integration and seamlessness between their devices, it's great. Samsung is right below. Google, I feel as though you guys just do stuff for the sake of doing it, being like, hey guys, we can do it too. It may not be as functional, but it is there because you requested it. And it's like, how are you guys the creator, the maintainers of Android, and you're still behind on feature sets? And I don't want to hear this whole argument of, oh, it's stock Android. It's supposed to be bare bones. You can then build it up from there. No, your first party apps on the device should be just as feature rich as your competitors. Your first party apps, because I'm, as a new person on the product, I don't have time to install stuff. I just want most of the first party apps that I want to use to simply work. And guess what? In the top echelon of the smartphone market, they just work. So in terms of vision, like, what is the Pixel supposed to be in Google's lineup? What is it supposed to be? A good camera? I'm not buying it. A good camera for black and brown people? I'm not buying it. The stock Android experience? I'm not buying it. Google, you guys made a laptop. I don't even know what, the Pixelbook, I think that's what it's called. I've never seen that in public. Never. The Chromebooks, I will admit, they are selling like hotcakes. But would you pair that with the Pixel? A pro level device with a Chromebook? Huh? I'm just gonna wrap the video up here. So Google or any other manufacturer or company, if you decide to blacklist me because of this video, that's fine. Once again, it speaks more about your character and your company practices versus mine. If you are a Pixel 7 Pro user and you've had an amazing experience, once again, this is just my experience versus yours. I'm not saying yours is bad or invalidating yours. It's just, this is my own experience using the device. This is, once again, just a review of the Pixel 7 Pro. This is not indicative of the Pixel 7 or the Pixel 7a. Those might have their own respective reviews and have their own, they might be good phones in their own right, but they're not representative of my experience of the Pixel 7 Pro. The last thing that I want to mention is this is really just an actual experience on what it would be like for a person to buy a phone, be unhappy with it, and you know what most people would do? Return it within that return window and let other people know, hey, I had a bad experience with this phone, don't use it. I'm just doing this on a bigger stage. I'm doing this on my platform, period. My voice is gone. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate every single sub, like, and comment. If this is your first time here, welcome to the best sponsor on the channel, which is nobody. I'm very tired. I can't believe Google, my voice is so gone. Google, out of all companies, made me so upset and disappointed. But I guess this is what happens when you're just so passionate about the industry, and it's one of the companies you truly care about, and they let you down. And to the other tech creators, you've also let me down, because my expectations going into this phone was, I don't want to say they were high, but I was expecting to have a nice Pixel experience, and I had the worst experience of my life using the smartphone. But that's all, guys. I'll see you guys later, and peace. Let me get the SIM card out of this phone. This phone sucks. But my experience has been the complete opposite. Much most manufacturers, when you, it's just, okay, I need to breathe for a second, okay? All right, your phone's gonna die in a couple hours. That's extreme, that's extreme. I'll take that statement back. You know who else has had bad experiences? not you, our sponsor. All right, so I'm just fact checking myself because I just wanna make sure I'm giving out the right battery life. Beyond 24 hours, that is some bull. I don't even know what I was talking about. I got so mad, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh my Lord.
So this is...
Excuse me. You guys are the creators. You guys own Android and you can't even make a solid OS, man. How? What do I say, man? I don't